Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, October 5, 2023. Well, it's 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night, Friday, at around 9 p.m. Eastern. The greatest shift that any human being can have in this lifetime is the experience of full self-realization. What is self-realization? Well, there's a lot of definitions which point to it. Yet ultimately it is a fancy word for realizing that the unlimited, all-powerful, omniscient self, who you truly are. This means we must go beyond every idea, concept, and boundary which we've defined ourself to be. Now, we know that the programming for the civilization, everything is not real. Everything that has been, let's put it this way, everything, all the programming that we've received isn't real. Self-realization is an endless journey where we not only realize that we are way beyond this physical form all day long, yet we have a direct experience of it with everything and everyone. We feel and sense a reverence for the spiritual being we truly are, that is not separate from this world around us. It is the most profound awakening process one can have, which expands within us every moment of the day, becoming an integrated aspect of everyday life. There really is no deeper transformation in consciousness that any human can have than becoming self-realized. The change in perspective is so completely radical and utterly life-morphing that nothing else can compare. Take the most profound experience of your life so far, and then stretch it so it continuously grows and expands 24 hours a day. This is a little taste of what self-realization is like. Your entire experience of reality is so different. It's as if you had been an Eskimo living for 70 years in the Arctic Circle, and then one day you decided to pack your bags and permanently move to Hawaii. The reason why it is so important to understand how ridiculously different the experience of self-realization is because it helps the mind drop any possible attempts to formulate a hardened concept about it. What it actually is cannot be grasped by the mind. The more the mind tries to think that it knows what self-realization is, the further you drift away from the experience of it. There is no mental concept in this universe that can prepare you for self-realization, other than a perpetual willingness to surrender into the mystery and curiosity of it. We would all like a formula for a way to live this life that is more enlightened and liberating. Challenge to this is that every formula that works once is not going to work forever. All formulas last for a limited period of time, and then we outgrow them. This is because the nature of our consciousness is meant to expand, become more flexible and diversified. It is only through absolute surrender to the infinite universe can self-realization be invoked and gifted to you. This level of surrender means you're inviting in the feeling that anything is possible, which means you must choose to let go of just about everything you've known to be true. It's not easy to let go of our beliefs, yet it is the only way we will ever find the experience of being truly free. To identify oneself with the body and yet to seek happiness is like attempting to cross a river on the back of an alligator, Ramana Maharishi. To begin this seemingly impossible spiritual quest for freedom, it all begins with inquiring into the source and center of who and what you actually are. When you relax, meditate, and dive into the center of you, there you will first find the mind and its stories about you. The infinite experience of you is behind these thoughts. It comes from diving into the center of your presence, your essence. And there you can go into it for infinity. There is also always another experience within the center of each experience. Eventually, this is how we become centered within our spiritual essence. In this life, it is always the most random, expansive feelings which redirect our attention away from who we think we are and towards rediscovering our unlimited creative source of consciousness. Now, if you notice, whenever you talk about yourself, you usually refer to the words me, my, or I. When you feel into the experience of me, my, or I, what do you notice and perceive is there? Or do you even think about it? Look for a long period of time. You must be infinitely patient with this inquiry because it is the first step towards uncovering the real you and is vastly deep and transforming. The longer that you can maintain a focus of inquiring who or what I am, the faster you will realize the shocking truth of who and what you actually are. So here's an exercise you can try. You're due. Imagine that who you are is contained within a small dot. We've done this before. It can be mentioned many times. Right? You've got a circle, right? Just look on a white canvas or white paper. You got a big circle drawn. In the center of the circle is a dot. Okay? The dot is the self you believe you are. This means everything which you have identified with that can be written down on paper, your name, your friends, your job, your gifts or abilities, your physical appearance, your attitude, personality, and the way others see you is all part of your identity. Now, the dot represents your mind with all the information stored inside it, as well as your emotions, memories, beliefs, and every piece of good and bad information inside your physical body. Everything you know to be true about you, your reality, is contained within a tiny little dot. The circle around the dot represents everything in our future we have yet to see, experience, know, and learn. It contains our intuitive higher self that says who and what we are includes the ego, mind, and body, yet also welcomes everything beyond it as well. Meaning, you could find yourself knowing who you are is not just your body, yet anything around you. You could feel yourself to be a tree, an animal, plant, person, the sun, the moon, the star, the planet. You could extend your idea of yourself into anything and everything in this entire universe. The circle represents every piece of information you don't know. This is maybe on Google, as well as in all the buried ancient past books, Akashic records throughout time. Now, if you look closely at the circle, you will see there is an outer circumference where the black edge meets the pure white background. This white background can expand into infinity. This edge represents the edge of the unknown and is where the experience of self-realization is found. We must choose not only to let go of identifying ourselves as a body-mind, yet also be continuously expanding our sphere of what we know is the unknown and surrender to the unknowable. We can call this infinite, white, expansive space, God, love, consciousness, source, or any word that works for you. However, the truth is that there is no word large enough to describe this boundaryless container which allows for everything in this universe to play upon it. This is the great mystery of life, which every mad scientist fights with to understand. Yet the mind will always be too small of a container to get it. To fully experience and realize who and what we actually are, we must choose to release anything that can be known with the mind and surrender into the infinite mystery behind it all. It is in this direct relaxation into our foundation that we find our spiritual connection and our boundless infinite potentiality. We instantly realize that we are a spirit being who is beyond this body, beyond time, beyond all places, shapes, and forms. What would happen if all of us on this planet, when we judge another, you do not define them, you define yourself? Wayne Dyer. What if we knew that? What if everybody on the planet knew it? Then we wouldn't judge another, would we? We wouldn't judge ourselves. By living everyday life on this outer edge of infinite possibilities, we become rooted in the deepest truth of who we truly are. We experience enlightened relationships with everyone in our lives because we see they are also a part of the mystery, living in this great unknown. We then become this ever-growing expansion of godly experience that is always increasing in love, joy, and curiosity. When we find this infinity within us, where all thoughts and forms abide in, we can rest in a state of pure consciousness. It is from this resting within the core of our real self where we can effortlessly allow everything to be in perfect order. Seeing the divine is orchestrating the universe to blossom exactly the way it needs to. The experience of self-realization can come and go in an instant, just like that. We don't need to meditate for 40 years to get it. It all begins with the choice in each moment to let this go of any identification we have with this body-mind and exchange it for a more expansive experience of life. So it's partly pure intention, part total surrender. We must choose to go from thinking we are a limited human being with many problems of this world to knowing we are on a great spiritual journey through an unlimited life. This leap requires absolute risk and trust, as the nature of the mind-ego identity is to try to cling to the old. It wants to find security in that which does not change. Yet everything of this world changes. The only thing that does not change is the infinite background, which is the God, the pure consciousness that you are in that body, is the only thing that does not change. And it is the only thing that is real. We create all this. The universes, the galaxies, the star systems, all species of life, all other civilizations. We collectively create all of this. It's an illusion. We are the only thing that's real, the gods that we are. Now, the mind is too small. It's too small of a container to ever come close to comprehending that. That's why we master the mind, ego, and we move beyond it to begin comprehending and understanding that everything we create is part of us, yet is an illusion to entertain us, and things that we can experience and learn from. So someone might say, so you're saying that this universe is an illusion? Absolutely. You're saying all universes are absolute, are an illusion? Yes. Isn't it ironic that the only thing that isn't an illusion is the thing that most of us don't know that we are? And in most cases, thousands of lifetimes go by, and we still don't know who and what we are. The only way to real freedom in this life is through changing our perspective. When we can shift from thinking, I live in the body, to the body lives in me. our reference point to me, myself, and I is expanded. We are no longer imprisoned to just the body and mind. We realize we are the unknowable. The identification with who we are is then found in everything. We experience life beyond the known and unknown circles of information we think are there. Self-realization is huge. However, it is not too huge to experience it in our daily lives. For it to root and be real, we must choose to be willing to practice integrating this expansive perspective on a physical level. We must choose to find complete relaxation with all the feelings, memories, ideas of who we were, who we are now, and everything that we will become. It is through the deepest acceptance of our small self that we can expand into our unlimited self. We are forever going to be this tiny dot that is also expanding into the infinite universe that exists around us. This is life. We have no other choice yet to accept it and relax into the deeply eternal loving and accepting divine blackboard that is behind it all. Through this lifetime, through the course of a lifetime, we all seem to get pulled into this feeling of falling off the path. When the frail, egoic human persona takes over, we tend to get wrapped up in identifying ourselves as what? Small, limited, powerless, time-bound beings who are temporarily imprisoned in a physical human form. Pretty much sums it up. The human experience can hypnotize us into believing that we are lost, poor, insecure, unhappy, or simply off track. The positive news is that the truth is always much bigger than the mind can fathom. Whenever we perceive life to be some random, challenging, confusing experience, take an afternoon to digest these 5 things. They'll open up the inner avenues of your connection so you reestablish a heartfelt relationship with your spiritual essence and soon discover the all-powerful, magical, manifesting being you truly are again. The first step to opening the doorway to meeting your sacred soul starts with feeling into your basic core nature. Who are you at the very innermost core level? You are a super powerful, divine being. That's it. That's what you truly are. Exploring this exposes you to become the highest authority of your reality and your life, where you decide what is real and what is not. You are the one who is constantly seeing, believing, and perceiving the reality you think is true. The mind is always right about what it believes is real. It's never wrong about what direction it's thinking and believing. Even if you fall off the deep end and believe 1 + 2 = 4, the mind will be very righteous about that. And there are people like this. The mind is all coiled up in an old habit of making up fantastic stories about who and what you are and are not. When this mind drops, you drop into your core basic nature, mindless, still, and free from all thought. The mind will still try to say that you're not enough of this and too much of that. Do not listen to the mind. Listen to your heart instead. I could say that a zillion times. Do not listen to the mind. Listen to your heart instead. There is an unlimited field of loving, sweet energy in your heart, which is the doorway to having a full body, deeply healing, spiritual awakening experience. A second step to revealing your soul is found within this space-time continuum. Where would the soul reside if it was simply resting and relaxing at the center of you? Where specifically and exactly is the core of you? When you look within yourself, where in space and time is the very center of this thing called you? When you find it, rest for many hours in that space. You'll discover that you are pure, powerful, perfect, sweet, complete consciousness. You are the source of divine perfection. And you let that sink in. The more we can relax into our center, the easier it becomes to realize there never, ever was anything wrong with you. That was all just a big fancy show of the mind, fabricating new stories again. Your soul is beyond the mind. It is the ever-present, eternal witness at the core essence of you, and is always there, always available, and ready to be explored. This is the inner journey everyone is seeking. It's the one that can take lifetimes to discover. And until we find it, we cannot know deep, everlasting peace. Don't worry. It is predestined that you will find your soul. The spiritual stream of sacredness follows us wherever we go. You can't avoid it. When we can really relax deep down into the core of our being, the eyes of the soul begin seeing through us. We can perceive the universal spiritual path within the mundane and understand how it's truly impossible to screw up this life. When we relax, we begin to truly trust life. We can feel like we have an infinite amount of time, energy, resources, creativity, and knowledge to, so to speak, get it right. Only in a very deep relaxation can we surrender enough to bathe in our soul's true eternal essence. The ego and mind are set on the back burner. There is no guessing about if we have arrived in the parking lot of our soul or not. It's so obvious. It's like the difference between knowing the sun is shining or not. There is only this pure feeling of knowing and getting that we are all unlimited, unbounded, perfect beings, connected in each moment to an infinite stream of conscious, intelligent energy. The soul makes us wake up and realize that we can do the impossible. Its energy is so powerful, eternal, and cannot be changed. The more we relax into this understanding, the more we stop fighting within our mind and its list of unfulfilled desires. We simply give up following our thoughts blindly around and begin relaxing beneath them into the quiet solitude underneath the mind, which makes everything in this life more interesting and less challenging than it needs to be. Now, the third step is to unveiling your spiritual amazingness is in the practice of a thing called trust. This universe is always protecting us, helping us, serving our highest good. It has never abandoned us, and it is always here assisting us to blaze through our challenges and find our greatest possible joy in life. When we trust in this process, everything changes in your perception and reality. This universe is conspiring in your favor. It wants what you want. Be a pronoiac, not a paranoiac. Just notice what it feels like to sit back and relax into the feeling of trusting in the universe and knowing it is guiding you all the time, 24/7. When we practice the trust vibe, we can listen easily to the subtle hints from this universe. We know our life purpose and spiritual direction, and we stop ignoring it. Most of us ignore it because we aren't self-aware. The trusting signs are there. Just look for them. Take heed. Stop getting in the way of your highest possibility. It is in trusting this universe that we can give ourselves permission to manifest the most amazing, miraculous life we could ever imagine. We actually get what we truly want through trusting. We stop settling for a fear-based, rushed lifestyle that we don't really desire. Take the time right now to take time to settle yourself into the energy of trust right now. Breathe it into your body. Feel it inside your heart. Practice this one all day long, all night long. Notice how good this feels. See if you can notice how many ways this universe is guiding, assisting, and protecting you in the next 48 hours. It is an amazing feeling when you can remain in the state of trust all week long, as it is this energy which opens the door to let your soul's full presence to come flying through. Now, the fourth step to discovering your soul comes from recognizing and letting go of your fears. Take the time when you're in the grocery line to find out what you're truly afraid of in this life. Look deep inside and face whatever old dark demons are inside you. They're just you hiding from your own soul. Your fears are not meant to haunt you and stay with you forever. That is not their purpose. If you are not facing your fears every day, then they are not fully serving you. You're meant to work with fear, push up against it, so that you expand your sense of self and grow beyond it. Release your attachments to what the fear means, and realize each one is merely a ridiculous, misguided thought. Give yourself fully over to being a fearless human being. By facing every fear that arises, you get to know your true warrior self as an all-loving, all-powerful, fearless, multidimensional spiritual being with unlimited potentiality. Who knew the darkness would lead us to the light? And with just a little exploration, and our daily journey home becomes a very sacred healing process. Only you can say where the road goes. Only you. Everyone sets their goals for an hour, for the hour, for the relationship, and for every phase of life. L. Ron Hubbard. Now, the fifth step to uncovering your sparkling, bright soul comes from retraining your brain to be alert and remain focused only on that which you truly desires, your true desires. What do you want in this life? What you want wants you to have it. And when you keep your mind focusing on what you want and off of what you don't want, the most amazing things will manifest in your presence. Nobody wants to hear what's on your long list of complaints. Put your kingdom of don't wants up for sale and recalibrate your mind to meditate on what you do desire. What are those things that make your heart sing? The simple refocusing of the mind on what you want in this life is incredibly powerful and transformative. Once the mind comes around to the conclusion that as long as it's focusing on what it doesn't want, it's never going to be happy. Period. As long as it's focusing on what it doesn't want, it's not going to be happy. Ever. Then it starts to rely more on pure awareness to liberate it. The mind is already deeply trained and programmed to rewind and replay the same 60,000 thoughts it had yesterday. It doesn't like to deviate from the norm. Yet when you restrict it to remain focused on what you want to think about all day long, your soul peeks through and opens everything up, like a flower meeting the first morning rays of sunshine. You come to feel the amazing warmth that is inside your being. This is the day you truly know your soul intimately, and it will show everyone in the most natural, unassuming ways the all-powerful, deeply, eternally loving being that you already are. Don't waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. Don't waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. Trust life. Trust God. If you trust, only then can you drop your knowledge. Only then can you put your mind aside. And with trust, something immense opens up. Then this life is no longer an ordinary life. It becomes full of God, overflowing. In those steps that I just shared, you become aware. You become self-aware. You discover who and what you are. And yes, you're not going to, go into meditation one day and have it all come to fruition, to identification. It takes a bit. You remember that the mind has been programmed for a long time. And what you're out to do, and when I say surrender, you dump the mind. Okay? And it begins to drop all of its perceived conceptions on how things should be. Begins to melt away. And you begin to sink deeper within you. All the things, all the fears, everything are in this room with you every day. And you can sit there and ignore them all, and guess what? They will be there with some additional ones the next day, and the next, and the next. And it's kind of like a training session. So any fear that you have, you turn around, you face that fear, and out of childhood curiosity, you say, okay, fear, let's look at you. Let's see what you're about. Huge difference than to sit, stress, worry, and fear. Huge, huge. It's just a complete about face. And these notions that we've all been programmed with are false. They're all false. And isn't it interesting that it's kept us all throughout the ages? An illusion of separation from ourselves and each other. Isn't that amazing? So we spend our lifetimes doing what? Living in the material physical world. Living with the mind and ego. Not knowing at all the pure bliss, joy, happiness, contentment, tranquility, peace that exists within us. I believe that is just, it's crazy. And we come in another lifetime. And it's the same thing. But yet we don't know it. And another, and so on. And those who wish to embrace this will find out for themselves who and what they truly are. And then they free themselves from the mind and ego. Gone. Like I said, it's on the back burner. Eventually it won't be there at all. In order for us to move forward and up, we have got to master the mind-ego. There's no other way. Many have been tried throughout the ages, but none were successful. Find ecstasy within yourself. Because I'm going to tell you, it is not out there. It is in your innermost flowering. The one you are looking for is you. You are the traveler and the destination in experiencing the ecstasy of your own being. You have achieved the final goal. I'll join you in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. The quality of our personal relationships represents how interconnected and whole we are within ourselves. For today, take some time to recognize and acknowledge all the interactions, connections, relations, and relationships you're still thinking about from your past. This may seem like an impossible feat, yet just do the best memory recall you can. Go back to your childhood, grade school, high school. Take a good look at what memories you're still repeating. What would you have done or said differently? What do you wish you would have experienced? What happened to your heart when you did start doing, saying what you wanted to do? Your assignment today is to go and tell those people what you most need to say. Start doing those things you most want to do with them. This is your chance to make a significant life change in their heart and in yours. This exercise is huge and will free up more spiritual connection than you could possibly know. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, following morning. We will return here Friday, October 6th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and around 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on around you,